Westminster.
And with me here in Downing Street to take stock is our political editor, Nick Robinson. Nick, a very unusual thing today, a resignation letter from a cabinet minister, which basically ignored the Prime Minister.
Ignored, and did it on the eve of vital elections. And the fact it ignored it tells you so much, doesn't it? It tells you about the depth of anger that Hazel Blears feels personally about Gordon Brown. She feels that every time he's been in difficulty since he came to power, she, though not a natural ally of Gordon Brown, rushed to the cameras to defend him. And when she was in difficulty, not only did he not defend her, he actually attacked her, condemning her behaviour as totally unacceptable. Now, that anger makes her a dangerous person to be opposed to, a potential assassin, but it also means it is easier for Gordon Brown's allies to dismiss her, to patronise her slightly, and say she's a victim of this whole affair, she's terribly upset, her family are upset, and it may mean that many Labour MPs are saying to me today, look, forget this woman, she is not going to bring our Prime Minister down.
On the eve of the elections, as you said, where does Gordon Brown stand tonight?
Well, he stands tonight with people having to make some very, very major decisions. Some ministers, I'm told, are discussing whether they should resign. Some cabinet ministers are now having to consider would they accept any job they're offered or would they stand down to trigger a leadership crisis. Some are considering whether to sign this email as backbenchers, should they put their names to it. But everybody in the Labour Party is waiting and watching to see what those elections bring. Are they a real crisis for the Labour Party or not? Finally, of course, Hugh, it is Gordon Brown who has to make a decision. He has to decide, can he get a team together that convinces his party that he can still lead? The ball is still in the court of the man inside Downing Street. But what he's been warned of today is if he messes that up, if he cannot create that team, he may pay with his job.
Nick, thank you very much. Nick Robinson there, our political editor. We're talking about the elections. As we reported, the timing of Hazel Blears' resignation has angered certainly some Labour MPs and party workers coming on the eve of these local and European elections, which are happening tomorrow. And the results, of course, could prove decisive, as Nick was saying, for the future of Gordon Brown's premiership. So with this guide on what to look out for in those results, here's Jeremy Vine.
Let me show you what's at stake in the local elections first. Now, this is just councils across England, 34 of them. I'll colour the map in the colours they are at the moment before the votes come in. So Lib Dems, for example, holding Devon and Somerset, the Conservative areas in blue, and where it's black, it's a council in no overall control, so no one party has a majority. But look at the top left there. These are the 4 Labour councils. I'll name them for you: Lancashire, Derbyshire, Nottinghamshire, and Staffordshire. The strongest of these 4 is Derbyshire. If Labour lose that, they've had a terrible night. Gloucestershire, slim Conservative majority of 3. Any trouble for the Conservatives, they might lose Gloucestershire. And Somerset worth watching because it's very tight between the Lib Dems and the Conservatives, and a very good example of what happens when those two parties are pitched against each other. Now, I'll give you some voting context. If we go back to 2005, the general election, this was the result, and you see Labour just ahead under Tony Blair, who won that election, his third election victory, 35 points to 32 percentage points for the Conservatives. But you see the Conservatives strengthen then in the local elections that follow, up to 40%. And then last year, 2008, very strong. Labour, 24%, a horrible result for them last year. Could they go even lower? They might think so after the kind of day they've had today. For the Conservatives, 40% plus makes them feel they can take the next general election. But there is another, even bigger election happening tomorrow across the whole of Europe, in fact, and the whole of the UK as well. Have a look at the map. Colours are rather approximate here because it's a complicated voting system. But let's take a look at a couple of regions here. Northwest, first of all. If Labour struggle here, it's just possible that the BNP's leader, Nick Griffin, could get their first seat in the European Parliament. And if I show you the Southwest, this was fascinating last time, 5 years ago. Have a look at the vote that the UK Independence Party, UKIP, got. 23%. Now, until a few weeks ago, it was looking as if the major parties were strengthening and would shut the smaller parties out. Then we had the expenses scandal, and suddenly the smaller parties think protest votes coming their way, they could have a really good chance. So, 72 MEPs, 34 councils. It's a big day at the ballot box tomorrow.
Jeremy Vine there on the big test, as you were saying, coming tomorrow for all the parties.